Play ball! Welcome back to the On Deck Circle podcast. I am your host and director of Dynasty Baseball at FantasySixPack.net, Dave Eddy. You can find me on Twitter at Corporal Eddy. Before we get started, I've got to make sure that if you're not subscribed, that you do so. And, of course, go ahead and smash that like button for us. So with all that out of the way, folks, here we go. Ooh, I don't like that.
Nah.
There you go. Hey-o. Look at those handsome gentlemen right there. I've got a resident heartthrob, Mr. Nick Zanaboni.
Hello.
And our hat wearer over there, Mr. Jason Beckner, who are joining me as always to talk Dynasty Baseball. So say hello there, boys.
What's going on, gentlemen? If you want, you can find me over at Twitter at JRBex. I do all my writing over at Fantasy Six Pack. I got 2 weekly articles, one on the Dynasty side, one on the redraft side. So yeah, just follow for Twitter for any updates, and I always post the articles there. So drop the follow.
Sweet.
And the Boston Celtics jersey wearing.
Yep, that's me.
Is it? Please tell me it's Antoine Walker.
No. Yo, he is fat.
KG.
He's
KG.
so fat. No, it's Tatum right now.
Oh, okay.
Jaylen Brown's my guy, but he's hurt right now, so I can't. But Nick Z, N Zanaboni 93 on Twitter. Find me on there. My Jared Kelnick Dynasty Player of the Week dropped today, so that's exciting. Yeah.
Who is he?
He's this guy who I actually want to ask you guys, who do you see when you see him, like player wise, comp?
A comp? Oh God, man! Way to throw that on me at the last second.
Yeah. Because I have one.
Okay.
Let me hear yours. Oh, that's not good.
A healthy Grady Sizemore was unbelievable.
Okay. I mean, does Kelenic have that kind of speed?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, wasn't Sizemore putting up like 30 bags?
I'm thinking, I think Kelenic can get like 20.
Yeah,
–
we'll
see. I hope that he turns out better than Grady Sizemore.
Yeah.
But at the time, there was a point in time when Grady Sizemore was, kind of – he played he was the bomb.com,
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we don't have a ton of news to get into this week. We didn't have a no-hitter, so thank God.
First time of the season.
Yeah, it was close there. No no-hitter. So what we're going to talk about is I didn't think it was going to be as big of a story until about an hour ago. Mike Trout, he left yesterday's game after the first inning with a right calf strain. He walked and then took second base on a pass ball, but injured himself as he ran out an infield pop-up to end the inning. Now, in 2019, Trout had a very similar injury and ended up missing 3 games. So I kind of think that's what a lot of us were thinking, some in that time frame, or maybe he wouldn't even have to go on the IL. But this time it was announced, like I said, just before we went live here, he's going to miss 6 to 8 weeks. So Juan Lagares ended up taking over center field. He moved over from left. Josh Rojas ultimately is the one that came in to replace him in the lineup. Lagares then ended up hurting himself, crashing into the wall, trying to rob a home run. But needless to say, this is a situation, we need to keep an eye on. 6 to 8 weeks is a hell of a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Would be kind of nice if they could slide Jared Walsh to the outfield and maybe play a future Hall of Famer at first base for the next 6 to 8 weeks. But that future Hall of Famer is a Dodger.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bummer?
Yeah.
He would have had all the at-bats he could handle. And
the timing on that is,
it's kind of funny.
It's kind of 2020, though.
Kind of funny. So, yeah, Angels are done. You can officially chalk them up as being done. I unfortunately don't know, barring Adele being the call-up, which I guess I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't see it. Without that happening, I don't really see a massive fantasy,
Marsh.
advantage.
Marsh could possibly be up.
Adele's been bad.
Adele's been real bad.
It's been really bad.
It's kind of sad because I really liked him.
I actually just bought a bat of his the other day.
And you're the only one swinging that too. He's swinging and missing on a lot.
So big hit, obviously, for anyone that owns Trout. I mean, he's been off to a really good start. I mean, pretty much every week we talk about him just simply because when we get into the advanced stat, it's always like, well, Mike Trout's in the top 5. Mike Trout's the leader of this category. Mike Trout this, Mike Trout that. As a matter of fact, let's see, is Mike Trout in here? Yeah, Mike Trout's in our stat of the week this week too. So no big shock there. So let's get into that stat of the week. Nick, do you even remember what it is that you asked for this week for us to talk about?
Was it
on the
bacon?
It's on the bottom of the screen if you can read.
Sorry, I missed the front of it.
It's coming around. Here she comes. Around the turn she comes.
Yeah, xBACON.
xBACON. So I think I got about 3 weeks worth of talking in on last week's advanced stat. So Jason, I'm going to let you go ahead and take the lead here and give a little bit of knowledge here. So if you got a paper napkin or something with something to take notes on.
I'm going to start wearing like a tweed jacket or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
For this segment from now on.
There you go.
Yeah, let's get into xBACON. So it's actually it's an expected stat. It's batting average based on contact. So it's kind of similar to BABIP. The bit difference between BABIP and Bacon is it kind of deals more with the actual contact versus just getting on base. So, it takes out walks and hit by pitches, but then it also brings back in the home runs, which is kind of one of the biggest, I guess, negatives against BABIP is that it takes out the home runs. So this kind of gives you more better understanding of, is the hitter creating his own luck by making good and hard contact, or is he, just getting a lot of walks? Anything above 400 is considered elite. Anything above 350 is obviously still good. And then depending on which hitters you have, it should be 50 points higher than their BABIP. So again, it's just an expected stat on the actual contact versus, all those other stats that BABIP brings in. It's more an advanced stat than just, because BABIP's, I wouldn't say it's old, but, StatCast era now, we're bringing in expected statistics. So
yeah, I mean, anything that has the X in front of it, that's what that means. So if you say X WOBA, it's expected weighted on base average.
Okay.
So anytime you see the X in front of it, it's just basically saying what you would expect that stat would be, not necessarily what their true stat is. Okay. I mean, if you thought about it, I don't know. I don't even know if this is a stat, but theoretically you could have like X home run, which would take into account, the ballpark they play in. So if somebody sneaks one around pesky pole, that home run doesn't count in
30 other parts.
In Wrigley. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of the way that I look at the X's is they're not real. They're what you would expect based on a variety of different things. And so xBACON is pretty much BABIP with home runs included. So they're going to be extraordinarily similar, but you just get the credit for the home run. So if you look at the leaders, you're going to see guys that have power. So Aaron Judge is the leader at 493. Bryce Harper, 467. That Mike Trout guy, 458. Rafael Devers, 432. JT Realmuto, believe it or not, rounds out the top 5. And then when you get down to the guys at the bottom, for the most part, you're going to see guys, that you don't think of as having power. But then when we get to the last 2 and almost the next to last one there, you get a guy that it's a little bit surprising. But the bottom 2 are Nicky Lopez and Kevin Newman. I mean, Nicky Lopez especially makes sense that he is last in the league and expected, batting average on contact. I mean, he's not hitting, home runs. Third is Didi Gregorius. I think of him as having a little bit of power. So I guess, maybe things just aren't going his way. A big surprise for me, which just kind of tells you what kind of struggle he's having, is Maikel Franco. I think of him as a power hitter. Yeah. So that will probably end up correcting itself. But he's 4th. And then 5th on this list is a big surprise, the biggest surprise by far, and goes into our buy, sell, hold last week. Mm-hmm. Frankie Lindor is bottom 5. So, that goes to explain a lot about his batting average and, all of his stats as well. When he's making contact, he's not getting much out of it. He's hitting 271 when he hits the ball in play, like home runs, everything included. So I think it's a good stat because he doesn't really show up as much in the BABIP as he did here. So does that make sense to you then, Nicholas?
It does. The X meaning expected really helps me in a lot of these things. Yeah, I had no idea. And it's funny you say the expected home run thing because Baseball Savant has that like ticker on the bottom and it shows them for every single park. And that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like if you scroll all the way down for like a hitter, it'll show like all the ballparks and like he would have this many home runs there. How many would go in each?
Yeah. If it's not a stat, whatever the X home run would be, if it's not a stat, I mean, it easily could be. It probably is.
I mean, let's just make the stat.
Yeah, we could.
The thing, yeah.
Next thing you know, they'll be on ESPN talking about, his X home runs this year are whatever.
I mean, just throw an X in front of anything.
Yeah. I mean, we put an X in front of fucking bacon.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually next to eggs, and now it's in front of.
Like how random is just that? So, all right, Nick, you got anything in mind for next week? I always ask if you got something in mind, or if you want Jason and I to just cook something up.
Give me a pitching one.
Okay, we'll just give you a pitching one.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything cool off the top of my head, but Jason will think of something.
That's right.
Something that makes Freddie Peralta look really good.
Oh, because he is.
Yeah.
So anything?
Literally anything.
Oh, man. All right. Let's get on to some buy, sell, hold this week. So I want to get into a little bit more than usual. So I've got 4 guys for us this week, a little mixture of good and bad. So I want to go ahead and start off with Mr. Jesse Winker, a guy that I used to own in Dynasty and sold him off before he got hot here. So his numbers are looking pretty good. We're talking 87th percentile ex-WOBA, 92 percentile ex-batting average, 84th percentile ex-slugging, 78% on his barrels. Ks are at a 60 percentile, and then the walks are the only really thing that's not coming in super hot, 35th percentile there in walk percentage. And he's in the ball hard, 88th percentile for hard hit percentage. When we get to Nick's stats, 346 batting average, so way up there, near the top of the league there. 400 on base percentage, so that's fantastic. 594 slugging percentage, nothing wrong with that. So it comes in just under 1,000 on OPS at 994. It's got 7 home runs, 22 RBIs, no steals so far this year. So what are you guys doing with Jesse Winker? Buy, sell, or hold?
I'm buying Winker. Since 2019, he's been a more aggressive hitter, which it's causing more strikeouts, but it's also getting better results. He already has 7 home runs. Well, actually, he had a home run earlier today, so he's actually up to 8, which puts him on pace for 30 home runs, 90 RBIs. He's also a great OBP guy. He's never had an OBP lower than 350 in a season. He's making a ton of hard contact. His hard hit rate's actually at 51%. The sweet spot percentage is also the highest of his career. And then since 2019, he's had 17 opposite field home runs, which is tied for 5th most in baseball. And actually 4 of his 8 this season have been opposite field. And get this, Nick, his xBACON is almost 393, which puts him near the elite level by Winker.
Look at that. A week ago, you just said, what the fuck are you talking about, bacon? And this week, you go, ooh, that's a nice xBACON. Yeah, look at you. You're growing up right in front of our eyes, big boy.
That's me. And I'm going to go ahead and say, sell him. Because, and you guys are going to know what I'm going to say.
Because he's not a Red Sox?
No. Because he's played over 100 games once.
Oh, okay.
We get into another guy on the down the list here who that's my answer.
His biggest issue is not his ability, it's his availability. I've been working on that one all night. So he played 47 games in 2017, then 89 games, then 113. Granted, last year was shortened. He played 54. So right now he's definitely on pace to playing the most amount of games that he's ever played. But you just got to wait for him to get hurt again. I've definitely been burned by him in the past, and that maybe I'm a lover scorned because I really invested in him in a couple leagues in the past because the numbers, like you said, are great. He's great for the OBP, and I feel like people in leagues don't realize that he's actually good in some of the if you asked a random person on the street, they would name 30 outfielders before they get to Jesse Wink.
I would name a ton of outfielders
to
Jesse Winker. I don't even know where he's at in my dynasty rankings, so I'm gonna look him up here. Why I look at I'm looking at a spray chart right now, and you wouldn't know if he's a left-handed or right-handed hitter. His spray chart, literally. I mean, I had to just double check and look because even his home runs aren't pulled.
No.
I mean, everything that he hits out of the park, as a left-handed hitter, is still to right center field. He doesn't have anything close to the line. Now, most of his, hits that land in the outfield are in right field. But if you look at his spray chart, you don't even really notice. Maybe he's a switch hitter. But the one thing I'll say about Winker is he's definitely a better fantasy player than a real life player, just because his defense isn't all that, man. He's in the bottom 5th percentile for outs above average, and his sprint speed is bottom 27 percentile. So he's clearly not a very good outfielder. But in fantasy, as long as he's getting at bats, we really don't care how bad his defense is, as long as it's good enough to get him in the in the field there. So if I look up Jesse Winker, if I can type, see where he is. He is, wow. Anyone want to take a guess? He's a lot lower than I would have thought. I think he's due for a bump here, but you guys want to take 56? A stab?
150?
What was your guess, Nick?
56 for outfielders.
Oh, I'm talking overall. But
okay.
I'll go 150 overall.
Okay, 150.
225.
He's 259.
Yeah.
He's actually sandwiched in between a guy we already talked about. So he's just behind Brandon Marsh, and I got him just ahead of Devin Williams. So yeah, he's a little on the low side. So we'll have to work on that. He's definitely doing a little bit better than I have him ranked there. Yeah. So next on the list, I got Dansby Swanson. So Dansby Swanson, 39th percentile xWOBA. 37th percentile x batting average, 45th percentile x slugging, 48th percentile in barrels. So middle of the pack or a little bit less. Nothing spectacular, but he's not killing you. Strikeouts, so bottom 13th percentile in K percentage, bottom 26th percentile in walk percentage. Hard hits is 76th percentile, so he's not doing too bad there, but league average is the best that you're looking like you're getting from him. When we get to the more Nick-friendly stats, 207 batting average, which in normal years is terrible. In this year, it's just bad. But 271 on base percentage, that's bad. That's real bad. But you see his xWOBA though is 39th percentile. So those aren't really lining up, between the advanced stats and his on base percentage. 360 slugging is very low. 631 OPS is very low. 5 home runs, 15 RBIs, 2 steals this year. So kind of underperforming, especially considering what he's been doing here the last few years. So what do you guys think? Buy, sell, hold on Mr. Swanson?
I would definitely sell him. I don't know if anyone would buy him at a reasonable, at a price that you would want to sell him for. But I've never been a Swanson guy. I just looked up his age. I thought he was older than 27. I feel like he's been around forever.
He has, yeah.
He was 22 when he first started with the Braves, but did he play with the Diamondbacks at all or no?
No.
I think he got traded just beforehand. He was the hot, he was one of the elite prospects in the game.
He was the first pick in the draft, right?
Yeah, he was drafted number 1 overall, and then I believe even that season they traded him for
Shelby Miller.
Yep.
Which, that was a weird trade at the time.
Yeah.
Turned out to be accurate, but
yeah, that was weird. So we got drafted in 2012, but Yeah, I would sell him. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know who's gonna trade him. He's not a guy that's gonna hurt you. I don't like if you were to trade him and then like he turns out to be like a little bit better, you're not gonna kill yourself over it. So I would definitely get rid of him if you can.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Like I would sell him. I don't know what you're going to get in return from, but yeah, I would sell. I mean, he's walking less. He's striking out more than he ever has. Even the contact that he's making has been similar in the years past. He just isn't making a lot of good contact. He's barreling less balls than he has in the past. I know it's a small sample size so far in 2021, but so far the pitchers are throwing him more breaking and off-speed stuff, and he's not making those adjustments. A lot of that just could be the small sample size and not, we're not back to the mean, but I'm selling if I can get something of worth value for him.
Yeah, and I've got Swanson. When I looked at the overall rankings, I thought maybe it was a smidge on the high side. But then when I look at the shortstop rankings, it makes a little more sense. I've got him 25th overall for shortstops. I got him right behind a pair of Martes, Noelve and Ketel Marte. When I go to the overall, you guys want to take a stab at his overall number?
Shortstop's so deep, so I'm going to go 225.
205.
Okay. 135.
Oh,
wow.
Yep, I got him sandwiched between Kyle Lewis and a guy we talked about pre-show, Alex Verdugo.
Yeah.
Got him just a couple spots behind Dylan Cease as well. So
Bregman got picked right after him in the draft.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, again, I kind of think that, and I said this last week or a couple weeks ago, we were talking about a particular shortstop. I can't remember who it was, but I said that, I was talking about Lindor. But in this case, Swanson for me is, it depends how deep your league is, of course, but he's kind of like at the very bottom, of where you could, probably have a starting caliber shortstop. And I've always been a little lower on him, than most. So, I agree with Nick that it'd probably be kind of hard to sell him because he's not going to be an upgrade at shortstop for anybody, I would imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
He'd be more of a bench piece, or maybe if you've got, middle infield, corner infield slots, then he becomes a little more valuable. But, he doesn't, I don't view him as someone that does anything too spectacular to where, he's kind of got to have, and you can kind of get him for, a cheap price.
Absolutely.
Now, a more intriguing guy for me is the next guy on the list here, Mr. Mitch Haniger. So Mitch Haniger so far this year, 81st percentile ex-WOBA, 73rd percentile ex-batting average, all the way up to the 91st percentile ex-slugging, 88% barrel rate, middle of the pack, and K percentage at 53, and a little bit below average in walks, 41 percentile. In Nick-friendly terms, 269 batting average, nice. 324 on base, 571 slug, pretty solid 900 OPS. Scored 30 runs this year, drove himself in 12 times with home runs. He's got 30 RBIs, no steals. So Mitch Haniger, while he's healthy, is putting up absolutely fantastic numbers. So what are you guys thinking? Mitch Haniger, buy, sell, or hold?
I think you got to hold Haniger. I know a lot of people may want to sell high on him, but he's currently on pace to hit 48 home runs, 121 RBIs, which would obviously be a career best. And I don't think those numbers necessarily hold, but still he's been super rock solid all this year so far. Since 2018, he's increased his launch angle, I think maybe by like 5 or 6 degrees. And I know we talked about this a little earlier, but if he had played all his games at home, he'd have actually 14 home runs. He'd have 2 more so far. And all of his 42 hits, 22 of them have all been extra base hits. Hence his 571 slugging, and it's actually supported by his X slug. I think is around like 550. So if you're looking for that power, and surprisingly coming from Mitch Haniger, so I'm holding. I think he's still got some more to offer. Maybe not 48 home runs, but especially now we like a little bit more protection in that lineup too. So I'm holding for now.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think he's probably going to get traded, right? Like, from, like, the Marin.
I mean, it would make sense. I I mean,
just to get some value for
if they're going to do so, now is the time to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, before he gets hurt. I mean, because his value's high as is probably going to get.
So if I'm the Mariners, I'm selling.
But make some room for J-Rod, baby.
Yeah. Trammell started up and he wasn't great, but he's killing it right now in AAA. Like, I keep seeing how great he's been hitting. Yep. And Trammell's someone that I'm been obsessed with for a very long time. But I would hold Haniger to see where he gets traded to. If it's to I don't know, the Red Sox, because Franchi Cordero sucks. Right? But
always with the Red Sox.
It's always. I'm sorry, guy. I'm very passionate.
So you're advocating Jeter Downs for Mitch Haniger. Heard.
No.
Oh my god.
Tristan Cassius? No.
So I think Nick said he kind of summed up my thoughts earlier for what I think of Haniger is. I think that especially for a baseball player, I think your greatest ability is being on the field. And that is not something that Mitch Haniger is very good at. So when he plays, he is, you could argue he is an elite type bat, but you just know that he's going to get hurt. The guy's 30, so he's getting there. Young for myself, but old for most of us. If he were to, if you knew you were going to get 500 at bats from him, I think he'd be an amazing asset. But you're going to get more like 300 at bats from him or something. So doing great while he's on the field, but I just waiting for that shoe to drop. So next on the list, we got Jeff McNeil. League average kind of, mostly across the board with these advanced stats. Ones that kind of stand out that are not quite league average. 29th percentile in barrels, so not making the best contact. It matches a 30% hard hit rate. Absolutely doesn't strike out though. 99th percentile in Ks, so he's not getting himself out, and he's taking a share of walks as well. So 68th percentile there, but not seeing the kind of traditional stats that you think of when you get Jeff McNeil. 242 batting average, which is like 50 points below what you would be thinking. 336 on base is not terrible, but with a 68 percentile in walk percentage, you'd think that would get up there a little bit. 374 slugging percentage. That's not going to get it done. That adds up to 710 for the on base or OPS. So no good there. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 1 steal, 13 runs if you want to throw it in there. So not really getting you a lot of counting stats, not really helping you in the ratios. All kind of things that you don't expect from Jeff McNeil, and I know that pretty much that entire Mets team is struggling. So yeah. I guess it all kind of adds up. Maybe they'll just all get on fire all at once. But
it's something in the water.
Yeah. With all that in mind, what are you thinking, Jeff McNeil? Buy, sell, hold?
I would probably be buying him because he's not someone that's going to cost a lot anyway, for the most part, depending on the owner. But you should be able to get him at a very reasonable price. Can probably throw
Jeter Downs for Jeff McNeil.
You can probably do a top 150 prospect, like maybe 200 for if a bad team is trying to get rid of him. Jeff
McNeil, man. I've got him 108th in my rankings.
Really?
So if you're getting a top 200 prospect, man, you're getting creamed.
I think Stash would do it in 30 Rock. He's trading everybody for prospects.
If you want to go prospect-wise, I have Jeff McNeil ahead of one prospect directly. Very high draft pick, Austin Martin.
Oh, no.
So that's where I've got him. I've got him 5 spots ahead of Adley Rutschman, 6 spots ahead of Mackenzie Gore, 8 spots ahead of Noelvi Marte.
Maybe I just don't like Jeff McNeil that much. I just didn't think he was that good.
I'm looking for a prospect that is ahead of him. Do we count Sixto as a prospect?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sixto's ahead of him. If you want to go, Andrew Vaughn is 9 spots ahead of him. C.J. Abrams is 10 spots ahead of him. So that's the range I have.
Like Marsh. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. McNeil, 105. Brandon Marsh, 258.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons he might be so low on him is, he was kind of one of those guys that just a journeyman minor leaguer, didn't make his debut.
I think of him as like a
27.
better David Fletcher.
Yeah, he's way better. I mean, he's way better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back and look at his stats, I mean, he is surprisingly, extraordinarily pretty good. A career average of 312, career on base percentage of 379. His career OPS is 867. So I mean, all of those numbers are just fantastic. Power wise, not a whole lot going on. I mean, he's only had one season where he's played a full year, 2019, and he went for 23 home runs, 75 RBIs,
all-star season.
Yeah, so I mean, exactly. There's that one full year, the only thing we really have to go off of. He batted 318, 916 OPS. I mean, I think he's a lot better than people think, but he is riding the struggle bus in New York just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Also, please tell me you heard the story about their excuse of between Lindor and him, why they were fighting.
Raccoons or something?
Yeah, they were debating if they saw a rat or a raccoon in the dug. It was just comical to me. So I thought
it doesn't make sense. I mean, it's simple. You say, hey, listen, we're around each other, 9 months a year.
Yeah.
They got into an argument. It's squashed. It was behind closed doors. Next question.
Yeah.
Wait, they were actually fighting? I thought they were just, joking around.
Like, what are they going to? Oh no, they were trading Pokemon cards or something. Like, no, they were fighting. No, They were fighting. They're grown men. They took it. They had a fight. They're grown ups. They're cool now. Moving on.
I just thought it was comical.
All right, guys. Well, it's time to get into the last segment, which normally is our final disc, but you guys keep turning this into a fucking rainbows and unicorn show.
I think you should go last because
I think we should just keep riding the wave of just like a final thought.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to hijack the last segment here, since you guys have been hijacking the rest. And, as most of you guys know, I spent 8 years in the United States Marine Corps. And since returning home from, overseas, in Iraq, and since completing my service, I have lost a few brothers and sisters to suicide. And every day, 22 veterans on average lose their battle to PTSD right here on American soil. So if you think about it, that's one veteran every 65 minutes that we lose. That's just mind-blowing to me. Total number of those losing their battle just grows larger each and every day that research and treatment are not more widely available. Military Suicide Awareness Movement, who uses the hashtag 22 a day, is the Advocacy Action Network and the next natural step for the Military Veteran Project. Now, obviously, this doesn't apply just to veterans. And like Nick said a couple weeks ago, reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, your coworkers, your neighbor, your league mates, whomever, and just check in, see how they're doing. You can't always know when someone is going through something. And sometimes a simple check-in, can literally be the difference between life and death.
For sure.
Well said. Yeah, well said.
So there we go. We've all gotten a round of goodwill in.
Did you get a chance to watch that Drew Robinson thing?
I did.
Unbelievable, right?
I did watch it. It's I don't understand how he can hit a baseball.
It makes no sense.
That was shocking too.
I added him in 30 Rock. Just
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I was like, I've got enough roster spots.
I think the biggest takeaway I got from that whole thing was there was a time when Jeff Passan asked him, he said, is baseball healthy for you? And that was kind of a shocking moment. And he said it was. And so that was just kind of weird, I thought.
See how it goes.
Yeah, I can imagine there's probably more people than you would think of that, maybe are in his situation. And maybe they don't take it to the level that he did, as far as taking action into his own hands. But I mean, there's a lot of pressure on these guys. I mean, guys that are in the minor leagues, for the most part, they're not making anything. They're literally, playing every day for their livelihood. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, these guys don't make a ton of money. There's a lot of stuff out there. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Emily Walden, but she covers the Tigers and some other things.
I follow her.
And she's pretty big on the whole, prospects. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, even the guys, a lot of them that play here in Lansing will have like host families who will take care. And I know that's common all over the place, but I mean, how crazy is it that you've got billionaire owners? And I know there's a lot of guys in the minor leagues and whatever, but you've got guys that are billionaires, like wiping their ass with $100 bills, and they're sitting there feeding these guys, like
sloppy Joe,
macaroni and cheese and sloppy Joe. Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy, man. So I mean, I can see the pressure there. I mean, they're literally playing for their livelihood, and it takes them a long time, and making the major leagues is no easy task. Everyone's getting there. So good for him. Again, don't know how the hell he hits with one eye. That's mind-boggling. But I mean, good for him, man. I mean, I think everyone's rooting for him. I don't know how you couldn't, Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where that ends up. But
for sure.
All right, boys. Well, let's go ahead and call it a wrap.
Wednesday next week. Don't.
Oh yes.
Tell the people. Yes.
Wednesday. Nick's got to get his nails done on Tuesday.
It's my birthday on Tuesday. I'm going to the Red Sox game with my lovely girlfriend.
So he's getting his nails done on Tuesday. So I'm gonna
some Red Sox nails.
I'm gonna take the opportunity. I'm gonna go catch a Lugnuts game. I can't remember who they're playing. So I don't know. I guess we'll talk about it on next Wednesday, boys.
Yep.
All right. Take care.
See y'all.
Hey, guys.